So let's get started. I done warmed you up now. We done had the chick to chick. Let's go. So could you introduce yourself? Tell everybody who you are, what you do, and anything you want them to know before we get started.
Hi, my name is Jalessa. I read books. I talk about books. I call myself a content creator. Some people say that I'm a book influencer. That is a conversation that we have sometimes. I talk about books, mainly Black books, specifically Black indie romance. And then I also run an Instagram and a website called Book Me There, which purpose is to link Black readers to Black book events that are happening throughout the year.
Which is an awesome site. That's a fucking awesome site. But you also have a podcast.
Yes, I am part of the Lit Library podcast. That is, it started off as a book club that my homegirl Lashandra, she forced all of us to be in this book club together. And like our discussions when we were talking about books were just so funny. We were like, okay, we should record this and like share this with people. So we started doing that. Oh, I think our first episode dropped in like August of 2024.
Mhm.
And it's been such a joy. I've never met any of them in person with the exception of Chandra. So the fact that they're like my friends who I literally talk to every single day, like we're all gonna meet for the very first time at Black Romance Book Fest in May. And when I tell you I'm so excited, like I want to do all the bookish nerdy shit in Atlanta, like I'm just looking forward to it. But we just be on there talking shit, and it's a place where I can just really say what I want to say.
Yeah.
Worried about somebody being like, Jalessa, come on. Like everything that I say is not too wild from
Yeah.
what they say. And it's good to connect with people who kind of have the same taste as you.
Mhm.
But even when you do disagree, like it's not no beef. It's just you receive this differently from me. We can respect that.
I love that. Especially when black women be black women. That's I love that.
Yes, and we need all the black womening that we can get.
Yeah, because our opinions are always be when we give, especially in the book space, when we give opinions, a lot of times they're misconstrued
Mm-hmm.
deliberately
Mm-hmm.
to be make us look like the enemy. Now,
Mm-hmm.
don't get me wrong, because some of you bitches, y'all opinions, y'all should leave them at the edits, at the fucking I'm going to say it part. I just
Yeah.
don't. That's some of y'all, not everybody, but some of y'all. But I do believe that black women's voices in the book space are silenced a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, not every white person is an ally, and not every ally is non-melanated.
Yeah.
So so it's like those people will they either try to steal our stuff or they're trying to tell us shut the fuck up.
Yeah, and that's something that when I first started like creating content, I got so many messages from white women specifically like, "Oh my god, I love your content. You could be so much bigger if you didn't only talk about black romance." And I'm like, the thing that y'all don't understand because you never lived the life that I have lived. One, representation is important. You don't understand how important representation is because you are always represented.
Yes.
Every facet of every single thing, you are always going to be represented. Two, I've read them books that y'all are going crazy over. They're not that good. I promise you. I was reading in 2012. If I pull up my Amazon, like my playbooks, if I pull up my Apple book, it is nothing but Saul, Colleen Hoover, all of them. I've been there, done that. Them books are not good. Three, I don't read that shit no more. And y'all don't need me to talk about these books that I don't even think are good. I'm going to talk about the books that I enjoy reading, the books that I recognize myself and my community and my friends in, the books that make me feel good. And that's, unfortunately, that's not the books that y'all want me to talk about. So I'm not going to. Because I'm not going to read that shit anyway.
And that's facts. And I say that often. Like before I found Black Book Talk, I was reading, my manga. I still read manga, but I was reading white books, Lorelai, Anita Blake series, all this because I'm a paranormal person, so I was reading all that shit. But then I found Black Book Talk, and it was just open the whole can of worms. Like,
have y'all been doing this the whole time?
Right. Like, where the fuck was I?
Yeah.
So it's different when you see the representation of yourself. White people see their representation everywhere, anywhere.
Yep.
Everywhere, anywhere. And I'm not taking away from white authors. I still read some, but I'm not as boisterous and loud as I would be for a black author or a person of color, point blank.
They
You know?
don't need my voice. And
Yeah.
at the end of the day, because I love Christina Lauren, I love them white ladies. Okay, you cannot tell me a bad thing about them ladies. They books deep down.
Mm-hmm.
If you give me an option to make a video about a Christina Lauren book or a Christina C. Jones book, I'm going CCJ all the time because I guarantee you, if I were to search both of those names on any website, I'm gonna get thousands and thousands and thousands, probably tens of thousands of videos about Christina Lauren. I'm not gonna get that with CCJ, which is really a crime if we're keeping it honest. But my purpose for being in this space has always been to talk about Black romance books, specifically those written by indie authors. That's not going to change.
And it shouldn't. And it should, because more voices. And I say this often. I said, for a lot of us, you and Tori kind of laid the foundation for us, because y'all were here before we were even thinking about doing a lot of the stuff we doing. Because I remember when I first came in this space, I saw y'all doing like interviews with certain authors. I remember Kendi Ryan, before she had got her traditionally published deal, was talking to Tori. You know, so though we didn't, people who are doing this don't understand, there were people before us that did it. You know what I'm saying? And this the foundation was led. I just hate when people think that they're the blueprint.
Yeah.
That annoys me.
It's one of those things, like, you just found this community, but this community has not, you did not find this because you created it. This was already established. And even for myself, you know, I've come off the shoulders of the girlies who were on Facebook and who were on Instagram. The only reason I started a TikTok is because when I looked for Black romance books on Booktalk, there was no there was none. Everybody, anytime you search Black romance Booktalk, you only saw the Talia Hibbert series, the Brown Sister series. Love the books, but that's not Black romance. But I think a lot of times people come in and they find this community and they're like, well, damn, I didn't know that this was here, so I'm clearly the originator. No, baby, this space has been in existence. You just got here. Come in quietly, come in respectfully, but don't come in like you run shit, because you just got here.
But a lot of times people don't have an identity on this app any goddamn way. A lot of times they get a little clout and they just think they are the best thing smoking. They can't humble themselves. So that's an issue within the internet, period. But majority of the time it's because they are not humble.
Yeah.
Or they're not really good people.
Yeah. Or they wanted to see where they could get in and fit in, who was going to get them the most followers and the numbers. I think you can tell people who read books and make content about the books that they read, but that's what they really truly enjoy doing, and who's doing it for numbers.
Yeah, because some of y'all and y'all reviews, this is all the fucking shade, okay? Take this the way you want to take it. Some of y'all and y'all reviews, y'all know we done read the books, right? Y'all know we read the books. So when y'all do these reviews, it's like, bitch, what is you talking about?
And see, I don't like to say that people lie in their reviews.
Y'all be lying.
But like, because I know, like, sometimes there's a book that can be really popular on TikTok and I read it and I just don't feel the way that the girls felt about it, because I received it just a little bit differently. But sometimes it is also very clear, like, first of all, I'd be like, did you actually read the book? Or did you watch a couple reviews, go read some Amazon reviews and say, okay, I think I got a gist of what happened, so I'm going to just make a video because I see everybody else talking about this book. And you can tell sometimes when it's like, oh, I don't think you actually read them 271 pages like I did.
Girl, and see all you brides out there complaining about how long my reviews be. Bitch, I read. Shit, I read the book.
I'm gonna know that I know these details. I've been in these pages.
I'll be reading the hell out the books. So, what inspired you to start this content creation journey and to start your website?
Content creation, because there was nobody talking about Black romance books over here. I really didn't think that it would be something I would be going into my fourth year of doing. It's very strange. I just wanted to talk about books. I did not expect none of this other stuff to happen. And then with Book Me There, I had the opportunity to host the first Me and My Romance Friends in Dallas. And there were so, like, I was talking to another lady who I had seen earlier in the year at House Party. And so we were talking about how much fun we had at the group. And like everybody was like, I've never even heard about this. Like, what other events are there? And I was like, well, you know, there's Indie Love, there's BLP. Like, I was listening to ones that I knew about or the ones that I had attended. And I was like, okay, there's a need here. And I had already been doing like weekly updates, like, hey, here's a new event, save the date, here's the website. But I wanted to do something where I can just put the information there and you can just take it and do with it as you would. So I came up with Book Me There on like that Saturday at Me and My Romance Friends, and then a week later, the website went live, the IG went up, and you know it's been interesting. It's been interesting, but I also know that I've heard this from event organizers that people found their events because I posted it on the Instagram. And so I just want to make sure that people can go outside and know where to go. Because I hate when I get on here and like post my review or like, hey, I went to this event, let's talk about it. And then somebody in the comments is like, damn, I didn't even know about it. Like, I've been talking about this event for like 6 months. So I wanted to just create a space where we could go. And know that if there's an event for us, that we will be able to have that information ready at hand.
So how does culture, being Black, how does that, and being a Black woman, how does that affect the moves that you make, the way that you speak, your mannerisms when it comes to Black literature?
You know, I am who I am. I am a Black child who was raised in Metro Atlanta. I am from the suburbs. So I don't ever want to present myself as anybody that is not who I exactly am. Too much energy to fake it. You know, and it's so funny because I've been in the process of like downloading all my old TikTok videos and everything. I went back to like my first videos on here and I said, who is this white woman talking? Like, why do you
I said the same thing.
Why did I have on my interview voice? I was like, hi guys, welcome to my page. I'm like, who is that girl? But I really I needed to get comfortable being in front of the camera talking about books, because up until TikTok, like I had always been tweeting about books and I was in Facebook groups. So I was always good, like sharing my thoughts, but actually sitting in front of a camera and being like, hey, this is my face and this is how I feel. That was new to me. So it took me some time to like really be like, girl, just stop sending your representative to these people's internet and just be yourself. And sometimes myself is very giddy and sometimes myself is like, somebody need to get their ass beat, but I try to be just Jalessa at all times. And my friends will be like, it's just like I'm having a regular conversation with you. The people that know me in real life, for them to be able to be like, yeah, that's just literally who she is and how she is. That lets me know that I'm not coming off fake or any. I don't ever want to be somebody like, oh, I don't trust what she say. Like, no, girl. This is me. It's so awkward like Tylee said, it's so awkward at first sitting in front of the camera, because it's like, do I look at the camera? Do I look away? Like, what the fuck do I do? Somebody tell me what to do, and I didn't know. And then the people all the time are like, how do you just do it? Like, what advice do you have? I'm like, you just need to sit down and record. Post.
You
do it.
You just got to pop your cherry. You just got just get it over with. So what was the first book that resonated with you and just spoke out to you and you said, this is my people?
You mean like books in general? Or...
Yeah, books in general.
Okay, dead ass. It was probably the Addie book, the American Girl Addie book. That is like one of the first books I remember being like, oh my God, I want to know more. Like, tell me more. And my mom was always a really big reader, so she had us in the library like every Friday. So I went through like all the American Girl series, and then I went through Sweet Valley High, Babysitter's
Oh
Club.
my God, Sweet Valley High. I haven't heard that in so
Yeah.
long.
Sweet Valley University. And then I remember one night we went to the library and I saw Through the Storm by Beverly Jenkins. I had never seen I had seen romance covers before because it was Fabio and all the white people. I had never
Yeah,
seen I had never seen a book like that with black people. So I
yeah.
snuck that on in my little library haul that week and I read it. Do I know what I was reading? I think I was like 12. I had no idea what I was reading. But I was
Beverly
like,
Jenkins at
I
12?
like this. I think I like it. Was at the library, so I picked it up. And that really got me into romance. And that's when I was like, okay, I think this is where I'm gonna stay. And then I went through like the Gossip Girls and like the A List, the Click, all of them little white books. But
Yeah,
again, reading those books, searching for me. Like,
yeah, yeah.
there are no black people in New York. Like, what is the issue? I know it's black people up there. I've seen them on TV, I swear. And then, in middle school, that's when like Zane, Omar Tyree, Fly Girl, that's when all of that shit started. So I went through all of the black people greats. And then in undergrad, I stopped reading because I was like, I'm either going to read for school or I'm going to read for pleasure.
Child. I think a lot of people got turned off from reading from college.
Yeah.
Because I don't care what major, unless your major wasn't about reading, that college just fuck reading.
I said, y'all want me to read the Iliad and then you want me to go over here and pick up a Kamani book? Like, please kiss my ass. Only one is happening, and my parents are paying for this one, so I'm gonna pay attention to that. And what got me back into reading, which is really crazy, was actually 50 Shades of Grey. That got me. That it was 2012. That got one of my friends was like, "You need to read this. You'll like it." And I was like, "Girl, I don't know why I want to read about these white people. I promise I don't." And I flew through that first book so fast, and that really got me back into reading.
It got me back into something. I fucking hate them goddamn books.
Would I read those books now? Absolutely not. They're not good. They're not good books. They're not.
They are really giving me yeah, Tylee, Sylvia Day. I love Sylvia Day.
Me and Sylvia Day was locked in, okay?
I love Sylvia Day. Love her. So what are the challenges that you faced when you first started out? And how did you get over it?
Getting people to understand what I was talking about when I said a black romance book, which is clearly still a definition that a lot of people don't understand today. But I feel like that first year on Booktalk, anybody that was talking about black romance books, the main thing we were trying to drive home is this is what a black romance book is. That shit you talk about, great book. Really enjoyed it. It's not black romance. You cannot tell me that's a black romance. That's a white man on the cover. And there's nothing wrong with interracial or multicultural romance. That's not what we're talking about. And I'm not going to lie. I almost said, fuck all of this. I'm just going to go back to being a reader. And I'm just going to go back to Twitter. And I'm just going to tweet about these books because it's too much. It was a lot of drama going on. You had a lot of people fighting for posture. Like, oh, I'm the queen. I'm number one in this space. And it's like, we don't know each other in real life. We know each other on the internet. But what are you doing outside of this? And I got caught up in a lot of bullshit. People in my ear, telling me so-and-so said this about you. And so.
Oh, I know that feeling.
It got very messy and it got to a point where I was like, okay, this is actually not fun for me. And I always said, when this becomes not enjoyable, when it takes away my joy for reading, I'm gonna clock out. I had to just change my mindset and my approach and remember that I'm doing this because I like to talk about books. Period. If I didn't have the opportunities that I have, if I didn't have authors who wanted to work with me, I would still get on here and tell people about the books that I'm reading because it's something that I enjoy doing. It brings me joy. It makes me feel good. So as long as I keep my mind and my focus there, all of this other shit, I can just be like, okay, great, y'all got it, ball out. Anyways, let me tell you about this book I was reading. I don't have time. We can say it's because I'm getting older, but I just all of that other drama, just what is it doing for anybody? No money in your pocket. It's
No.
not getting you no partnerships. It's literally not doing anything but having you in mess. Nobody
Yeah.
has real life is already a mess.
Whew.
We can leave it out of this space. We can
Yeah.
have a space that is just for us, that fills us with joy and makes us feel good and not feel guilty about that. And I wish more people have that mindset. I think more people are starting to get that mindset, but I'm good now.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times people they feed into the mess. They feed into the debauchery and bullshit that be on this freaking app. And instead of, I fell into it too, at one point in time. So I totally get it.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, we've all had our
yeah,
foot all in that pool. I think
yeah,
everybody has been in some mess.
yeah, people in your ear like, girl, this person,
Yeah.
but you have to weed out, even on the internet, you have to weed out the ones who like to cause chaos and mess. They
Mm-hmm.
feed off of it because, they'll never say, oh, I said it.
Mm-hmm.
They'll
Oh,
let you
I
just go
heard
down that
that.
downward spiral.
Oh, you should look at this. You seen this? You heard this?
Mm-hmm,
I don't.
mm-hmm.
I don't want to know.
But
Yeah.
now, as I've grown in this space, I don't want to hear shit. If the person didn't say it to me, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I don't care. And as you said, this is the interwebs. Okay, you're not about to catch me because you're gonna wind up catching something, but it's gonna be something you ain't gonna like.
And that's another thing. A lot of people are very big and bad in the camera, but in person, the energy is very different.
Girl, and see here, I'm the opposite. In person, I have a resting bitch face that will shake a nigga in his boots.
No, dead ass. When I walked up to Boozy Book Tour, I said, "Oh my god, who has pissed Storm off? Why she's sitting out here looking like that?" And you was like, "Hey, Jalessa." I was like, "Okay, maybe it's not no drama. Maybe everything is good. Maybe she just like, I don't want these people to talk to me no more."
I keep telling people I am different in person. You know what I'm saying? It's not that I'm angry or anything. It's just I'm just a very introverted person,
Yeah,
and people come think that I'm standoffish, and I get that because sometimes it can come off as that. But I'm really a cool person. I'm just introverted as fuck.
yeah,
I mean, I can be mean, but I'm very introverted.
yeah,
So just doing these events is really pulling me out my comfort zone.
yeah.
So
You gotta build because I'm extroverted. I like to say I'm an introverted extrovert. Like when I'm outside, I'm outside. But also, if I'm outside for like 3 days in a row, I'm gonna need at least a week in just solitude because I need to build my social battery back up.
man,
And I will like go into events. When I went to my first book event, I think it was in 2022. I went to Indie Love. That was people didn't really know who I was. Like the authors knew me, so that was cool. But like other readers didn't really know who I was. Compared to going to Indie Love 2023, people be like, "Hey, friend," and I'd be like, "Hey." I feel like people know my face. People know what I look like, and so I like it. Still catches me off guard for like a couple of seconds. Hey, friend, I'm like, yes, hello, hi. You actually know who I am. My bad. It takes a second to get used to that. I don't think I'll ever get used to it.
man, I'm telling you, after I love y'all, but after I come from those events, I be fucking wanting to lock myself, close the windows down, make it real quiet, cause y'all done wore me the fuck out.
I be needing naps, like Khalid said. Like I was supposed to after Indie Love last year. I was supposed to be back up with them and go outside. I came in my house and took a nap, and next thing I knew, it was like 10:30 that night, and I said, "Well, damn, sorry, I needed to recharge." They be long days, man, and you
Yeah,
be like, I don't want anybody to come up and speak to me and feel like I was rude,
yeah,
or so I never want anybody to have a bad interaction with me in
yeah.
person. I don't. I think that's just me in general. So I want to make sure like I'm nice and I'm
Mhm.
still like happy. But boy, after about 4 hours, I be tired. I be like I
And
need a shot and a little smoke, and I need to woosah myself for just a second.
Shannon to tell you, Storm, if she comes up missing, that is because she needed to go outside and get some air.
Yeah.
Because y'all done hugged her to death. She needs to go for
When
me.
I was like, Shannon, come take this picture, she was like, oh my God. I was like, sorry, girl. Did you think I was going to come to your event and we weren't going to take a picture? Be for real. Be for real. Shannon was one of the first people I met, like, from Booktalk in person. I think I met her at the Be Love event. Was it last year? It was 2023, I think. She was one of the first people that I met from, like, Booktalk specifically.
Yeah. Girl. So, how do you decide, like, you said you started from the blogging of doing books. So how did you decide what books you wanted to talk about, blog about? And when you went to the internet and you started doing it on your page, how do you decide what books you talk about or give attention to?
It wasn't even blogging. I literally was just on Twitter and I would just be tweeting about the books that I was reading. And I would be tweeting like at the authors, like, girl, why would you write this? And then it transitioned into me actually talking about books. You know what? If I'm in a mood to talk about a book, I'll talk about a book. If I really, really, really love the book, like it has just really, it sits with me. It made me feel, whether that's like happy or it pissed me off, it made me have a reaction. I want to tell other people about that book. If it's a book I've not seen anybody else talk about, I want to talk about that book because if I finish the book, I enjoyed the book.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, I enjoyed the book. So I want other people to enjoy the book as well. And I know that that's the easiest way to help these authors get their books out here is to just talk about it. You don't have to have, a 20 million thousand followers. You just, if I can get one person to read a book I talked about, I feel like my mission has been accomplished.
Facts. So what do you think about the role of Black influencers in the literary space, and how does being an influencer or just being someone that loves books play a role in indie authors' success?
I didn't. So funny. I didn't think that being like a book influencer was like important, because as a Black book creator who only talks about Black books, it is very difficult. There is not space for everybody to have like this huge following, right? And if you are coming from the side like, damn, I don't have this many followers, nobody is talking to me, it's so easy to get discouraged because you're like, nobody's listening to me. Nobody is, they're not going to pick up this book because I said it. What I realized is if somebody sees me talking about a book and that not only gets them to read a book, but also gets them to sit in front of their camera and talk about a book, then I've helped add somebody else, another voice into this space. And I feel like the more of us that are out here that are openly talking about the books that we're reading, the books that we're enjoying, it's one, helping these authors sell more books. It is getting publishing to notice Black buyers. The Black dollar, specifically in the literary world, is not nothing to be played with.
Facts.
The money that we spend on these fucking books is insane. It is insane. I am literally right now, I have 2 savings accounts for Black Romance Book Fest and for Indie Love. And I'm planning on dropping at least a stack at each event. We are not to be played with, but for some reason, publishing doesn't see that value in us, so we have to force them to see it. And the way we do that is by continuously supporting these authors, going to these events, talking about these books. When an indie author goes traditional, take your ass to Barnes & Noble and buy that book off that shelf. Let them know, hey, I'm coming in here specifically for that book. Because if they see a book that is constantly selling, they cannot keep it on their shelf, they're going to continue to replenish it.
Yeah.
We have to use our voices, but we also have to use our dollar. If you can, and I understand that everybody cannot, but even if that means, using your dollar can also be, I got this book on Kindle Unlimited. When I finish this book, I'm going to rate it and I'm going to actually write a review for it.
Yeah.
We know that the more reviews these books get, the more that Kindle will actually push them out to other readers.
Now, you talked about how spending your money and using Kindle Unlimited to help these authors. How important is it to order books into the library? How important is it to request these books in the library for independent authors?
One, authors do get paid. if their books are in the libraries. They get paid per copy, I believe, for both audiobooks and for physical books and for their ebook. So if you have a book and you are like, look, I can't afford to spend $15 on this book, but I can go ahead and ask LA County Library or whatever to carry that book. We need to get these books into libraries because the library is the easiest way for people to read because it's free. You don't have to pay anything to have a library card. You just need an address. And it don't even have to be your address because I got library cards all over the country. I live in Atlanta. But that LA County Library card gets work, okay? I got like 7 books that I'm reading in Libby right now.
And readers, somebody, she said, and readers can request books and audiobooks.
Yeah, you can request books. You can request audiobooks. And I don't think a lot of people know that. And I don't think a lot of authors know that. Like, you can also go to your local library, like, look, I'm an author. What do I need to do to get my book in your library? Is there a form? Do I need to have readers? And then, like, let people know. You don't have to do it on your own. And I think that's a thing that we have. I think that's just a Black woman thing in general. Like, I'm just going to do it myself. Shit, I'm going to do it. No, you have community around you. So use that, leverage your community. If you're like, look, I want to get put, I think Kimmy was in here earlier. She was like, I want my book to be in like this MLK library. She don't know. I'm going to slide in her DMs and be like, what do we need to do so that we can get your book in that library so that you can walk your ass in that library and see your book on the shelf.
Yeah, because a lot of authors here in Chicago, and if any of y'all are in Chicago, the damn inner city libraries are looking for y'all. And I'm not, because I know a lot of people will try to go to the little populated suburban libraries. The inner city libraries are looking for y'all. A lot of Black people go to those libraries. They use the internet. They listen to audiobooks there. A lot of people really are still getting books, and these librarians, they are literally asking for Black authors to come and put their books on the shelves.
Yep, baby, I be at my library, my local library, telling my librarian about books all the time. I'm like, oh, so-and-so came out with a new book. What you need me to do, let me know. I want your books out there because if you can find these readers, if they pick up your book in the library, I'm not going to say they love that book so much they then go to your website and decide to buy it. Or they see it on Amazon and they decide to buy a physical copy for their home, or that they tell their friend or their auntie or their grandma or their beautician about it. You never know, but you got to make it easy for us to support you. You are not alone in this. That is what readers are here for. We're here to not only read your book, but to support you and push your book out to other people.
So what's the most rewarding part of engaging with the book audience as a content creator and a podcaster?
When somebody feels the way I feel about a book and we can talk about that mutual feeling for a book, I love that. Excuse me. Perfect example, Ruger by Grace Huffington. Ruger took me down. And to know that I was not alone in the way that I was sobbing over these fictional ass characters, that just made me feel like, okay, I'm not a little weirdo that's over here crying about fake people. Like, other people felt the same emotions that I felt. I don't feel so alone. And I think it just, again, boils down to that community factor. That is probably that's the best thing that has come out of all of this in general, is really being able to build a solid community, where we, our discussions and our conversations go well beyond books at this point with some people that I talk to. Like, that family is my family. And if they got a baby, that's my niece, that's my nephew. Building those relationships with people who, if it were not for us connecting about a book, I would probably never meet these people ever, because we don't live in the same city. We don't have any other friends in common, but we were able to connect over a book. And now you really, like, if I get married and have a wedding, you go get invited to my wedding. That's crazy.
Yeah. There's tight connections in the book world. Very tight connections.
Yeah.
But not everybody friendly. Just remember that shit.
Find the people that work for you, okay? And everybody is not for everybody.
That part. That part. How do you go about creating this space for people? Because in society, we're considered underrepresented.
Mm-hmm.
The underrepresented. That's where we are in society.
Yeah.
We don't feel that way, but society always has a label for Black people. So, how do you make sure the voices in literature are heard if everyone thinks we are so underrepresented? Represented. There you go.
I think it's less about trying to reach the masses and more
Mhm.
about reaching the people that are looking for you.
Mm.
And I say that, so, I talked about, like in 2012, when I first got back into reading, majority of what I was reading was white contemporary romance.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was in 2016, I tweeted out, I was like, man, I'm loving these books, but I wish I could read some black contemporary romance. And somebody tweeted me, a girl I went to college with was like, you should check out Christina C. Jones. And that opened my world to this literary community that had been there, that had been releasing books that I had never heard of. And it's much easier now to
Mhm.
find black authors and black books in the black
Absolutely.
community than it was back then, because in
Absolutely.
2016 it was mainly on Facebook, and if you didn't know what groups to be in, you ain't really know where to go. And I think it's just about making sure that those spaces stay accessible to the people who are seeking them out, um,
Mm.
and also gatekeeping them, because everybody don't need to be in our space. And
Yep.
I think for some reason, and this is a black people in general thing, like we do everything for everybody. Like if we understand that if it's good for us, it's gonna benefit everybody else,
Mhm.
right? Everybody doesn't feel that way. People are very quick to rely on black people to do the work,
Mhm.
to help them and support them, but that's never really reciprocated. It's a real reason why I hate like the term BIPOC, because a lot of
Mhm.
the times the B and the I in BIPOC, they are always pushed to the side.
Mhm.
And when I first started this, it's because I wanted to get everybody to read
Yeah,
black
yeah,
books. Like everybody come over here, it's fun. But no, I don't want everybody over here. I want the people that want to be here.
yeah.
And I
Mhm.
know that we haven't found all of those people yet. So I want to continue to reach out to them to make this a welcoming space for them. But
Mhm.
everybody else, this is not for you.
And I think that's why I think Navi, the author Navi, coined it well with his picture of the Black women drinking tea off the roof while the world is on fire. We was all together. That picture is just what 2024 had taught us.
Yeah.
We're not, it's not on our backs anymore.
Yeah.
And I feel like in the Black book community, um we do try to be very welcoming, because we see some person that's not melanated reading a book that is that is by a Black author,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll be like, oh girl, let me give you some blah blah blah, and they don't realize it's more so like a experiment with them. It's more so like they're just trying to do it for clout off the
My,
bat.
my thing is, it is the year 2025.
Yes.
If it took you until the year 2025 to pick up a book that features black characters that was written by a black author, it's very hard for me to believe that you've been trying to read these books the whole time and you're not just doing it because this shit is popping off.
I I have Afro Latino and Afro Latina children,
Mm-hmm.
and they always talk about representation of them in books, on TV and stuff like that. I do not say BIPOC anymore. I say Black. Um, I'll say Indigenous, and then I say POC.
Yeah.
I don't put it together. And I feel like uh, Black and POC people have been screaming, especially Black and Latino people have been screaming, "Hey, we got some good ass books over here.
We're here.
We got
We're
some good.
here.
Please, read these books because
Mm-hmm.
don't wait until it's Latin Heritage Month or Black History Month or Women's Month. Be like, oh, I'm going ahead and read some Black females. You know what I'm saying? Don't wait until then to read some books. But the thing, my people, we get bamboozled quick. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Um, in the words of Malcolm X, we didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Okay.
Miss Rock landed on us.
Right.
Yeah.
Y'all get bamboozled by the hype. And this is why you get people like the crying crunchy wig hoe doing the things that she does. Because we get bamboozled because we be like, that's our people. But she is not our people.
She's not our people. She's never been our people. And she's been very clear about that from the beginning. I think people get so mesmerized by the number. Oh, she got 2 million followers. Great. She does. She has never told not nan one of them 2 million followers to read a book by a black author.
Hell, she just mentioned Kennedy Ryan, I heard. And that's only because she's traditionally published. Because she don't
It's
give
like I guarantee you, if Before I Let Go and This Could Be Us had not popped the way that they would have, that girl would have never talked about real. She would have never been talking about Kennedy Ryan. Like, and let's call a spade a spade. Being black and black romance and reading diverse, that's the cool thing to do. But a lot of these people, just like all these DEI initiatives are going away in corporate America, all the people that were reading diverse and doing these diverse challenges, all that shit is going to revert back. And at the end of the day, you're going to have the same people that's been here, been talking about reading diverse, been talking about black books. We're going to be left. It's going to be our space, and we got to close the gate and leave them people out. And when they try to come in, because we cannot stop people from reading books, okay?
Yeah.
What we can do is control our reaction when they cut up.
That part. That part.
And it is hard to not say anything. It is so difficult to not be like, you stupid bitch. It's very hard to do that. But the thing about it is, it's like a fire. If you don't give fire no air to grow, then it's going to fizzle out.
Yeah, yeah.
You have to ignore them because what they want to do, they doing that shit because they know we're going to pop off.
Yeah.
When people pop off, it's going to bring them views. That's going to bring them followers. And it's also going to open the gates for other people to talk down on the literature and the authors and the characters that we love and we appreciate.
Yeah.
I cannot make space for those people anymore.
Yeah.
I'm just recording the videos and I saved it to my drafts because sometimes I just gotta get shit out of my system. But I'm not gonna post it anymore. I'm gonna block it and I'm gonna keep it moving.
Yeah, I'm not the one thing. Okay, I'm all for a black woman. I really am. I'm a thug girl, but I'm for the girls. You know what I'm saying? But some girls, I would leave you like Harriet Tubman left some of them slaves. Okay.
Because everybody, all skin folk ain't kinfolk.
Yeah.
Just because we look alike, that does not mean that our missions are aligned, our purposes may not be aligned. You have to really have discernment and you have to be okay and be comfortable with being like, all right, this is not for me. You are not somebody that I need in my space. So we cannot continue this. It's okay.
Yeah. And I'm watching some of the newer I can't believe I'm saying this. I've only been in here 2 years. I'm watching some of the newer content creators that's in the bookish space, and I'm like, "Ooh, girl, I want to tap their shoulder like, no, don't do it. But let me mind my business.
I feel like it's a lesson you have to learn. And it's also something like because some people like it. They like being in the mix. That's what they do. Ball out, sister. I'm here to support you. I will probably, if your video is funny, I will probably leave a comment. But me, myself, I'm not going to, I cannot give the energy to platform that shit anymore. I feel like I did it. And I feel like it's because I'm also a little bit burnt out. Because we were doing that for like a year and a half. We was out here literally fighting for our lives. And it was always something. Oh, fiction. I can't read that because it's too ghetto. But your ass is over there reading mafia romance. Bitch, it's the same thing.
Please don't get me started. Don't get Jalessa.
It's the same shit. The difference is niggas.
I want people to understand, before I even get to my next question, I want people to understand the black umbrella is big. This umbrella is huge in the literary space. Just like all those genres you see in the white spaces, they're plus infinity over here. You know what I'm saying? Because of our culture, because of the fact that we're black or we're POC, that it space the space is huge.
Yeah.
And mafia romance would not exist because I can guarantee you none of them bitches was writing about the Godfather because the Godfather came out in the 70s. These bitches was not writing about mafia anything. They were only in script writers writing for movies. The minute street lit became a thing, and I'm not talking about urban fiction, y'all, because there's a difference.
You talking about Terry Woods and Wahida Clark, like you talking about the girls that was in the streets.
When street lit became a thing and they was being sold out of cars and mom and pop shops and African shops, and these, now mind you, white people pay attention to what the fuck we got going on. Absolutely. Even though we don't think so, they do.
Absolutely.
So every trend that we have, they are following before the internet was even a thing. Yep. So when they saw that this was a thing, mafia romance came about. Urban fiction and street lit is the originators of mafia romance.
But nobody wants to talk about that. Nobody wants to, because nobody likes, they don't like to give black people credit. That's what it is. They want to take our shit, paint it white, and sell it to the masses and be like, look at this new shit that we created for everybody that they love. And it's like, we've been doing that.
Yeah.
We just didn't have the same opportunity. We didn't have the money behind us because people don't fucking believe that black people read.
Girl, they don't even believe that black women are the most educated in America, and they fucking just had a whole damn study on it. They gotta be wrong. We can't be intelligent. We all got to be dumber than a box of rocks.
And I think the good thing is people are opening their eyes and recognizing it now. And it's becoming a little bit harder for them to get away with that bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, we see you. And because of social media, we're able to call people out directly. Like, I don't have to send a letter. I can get on my phone and make a video and say, hey, Simon & Schuster, hey, Penguin, hey, whoever. Why are we not, what's going on? What are we doing? Why are we not doing this? Times are changing.
It really is, and this goes into the next question I have. So, what trends or stuff that you're noticing in the publishing world regarding like diversity and inclusion has changed and has not?
I'm definitely seeing more LGBTQ representation, which that makes me really excited. Because those are books that I myself am like, I need to read more of. So I'm seeing that. I am seeing more dollars put behind Black authors. I'm hoping that it can be more than just the three that we have. So like beyond the Kennedy Ryans and the Tia Williams and the S.A. Cosbys, we got plenty of books. We got plenty of authors. Let's get some money. Let's continue to expand this table. Let's put more people to the table. I do appreciate the traditionally published Black authors that I do know. They are trying to pull people up with them. They're mentioning other Black authors' names or dropping books so that they understand, I have a very wide readership. It's not just Black people that are reading for me. So how can I bring other people into this fold if they want to be? What else? I think that's really it. It feels like we're more visible, but I don't know if we're more visible because I created this space who I want to see. So that's what I'm seeing a lot of, or if we are more visible. I will say, like, I've had a lot of friends get back into reading this year, which has been such a joy. Like having like my actual real life friends be like, okay, what book should I read next? I just read this. This is what I like. Being able to, like, I was in a wedding, this past weekend. One of the bridesmaids was like, okay, I know you be reading. Give me a book. I was like, okay, you need to read Demon's Dream by L. Casey. So being able to bring people and introduce them to this side of literature, to this part of the industry that they would not have known. Because a lot of people don't know about independent authors. They think what I see in Barnes & Noble is what's available.
Yeah.
Barnes & Noble don't even scratch the surface.
Oh, God. Every time I hear Barnes & Noble, my ass itch. I enjoyed that because my cousin, she had came on here one time, and she had just watched my review of, no, I was doing an interview with Jaquel, and she would just hit me up on a text, was like, okay, what book do I start out with? Now my cousins, they are not readers at all, because once they graduated school,
they said the books,
it's rap. But she was like, and she just started like the Delgado series, so it was just like, and she literally sends me messages like, girl, girl, girl. Yeah. So, and I love how reading and literature brings people together. But also, talking about what you said, the representation, I love the fact that I am seeing more poly, more sapphic books. Because one of my faves is Dean, what's her name? Outdrawn.
I feel like I know who you're talking about.
It's like what's her name? Dean. I can't think of it right now. Somebody, y'all know what I'm talking about. And J. Lee Fields, even though she's an independent author, she writes books. Deanna Gray, that's her name.
Okay.
J. Lee Fields, she writes straight male books.
She wrote Hunted, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Baby,
yes,
that was one of the first books I read in 2024, and I was so sad to read their Christmas book. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna miss these two. I love Ernest and Wendell.
She's got some more books coming out with Ernest and Wendell in it.
Oh, perfect. I know she got like a lieutenant.
Yeah. She just came out with something that's dealing with Wendell, with them.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you have people like Joan Vesser, who I love dearly. I just love her. I have an interview coming up with her next week. I just love her books. That Bittersweet. People are sleeping on her.
People are so sleep. And I met Joan Vesser at House Party in 2023, and I hadn't read Unfortunately Francine yet, but I had heard about it, and so I wanted to buy a copy. She put her phone number in that book and was like, you're going to need to call me when you're done. And I didn't call her, and I should have. But when I tell you, I ate Sweet Honesty up. Sweet Honesty was so good. It was one of my top reads of 2024. But that is another pen. Like, I'm like, how are more people not reading Joan Vesser?
Let me tell you something. Joan Vesser had reached out to me because of A.A. Lewis, right? And she didn't want to do the internet shit. She was like, here's my phone number. Text me your phone number and I'm going to call you. And I got on that phone and was quiet as shit. Like, you could hear a pin drop because I didn't know what to say. I was just like...
Because authors be acting like they regular people, and I'm like, you are a whole book celebrity. Like, please stop playing with me. You're a celebrity.
Thanks.
Having a moment, because how do you know my name? You are a famous person. You know me.
I swear to God, I be like that every fucking time. It be like I be trying to be cool, but shit.
I be like,
why I'm lying? Shit.
Trying not to hyperventilate. When I first met Christina C. Jones, because like everybody knows, like that's my number one. She is the Beyonce of Black romance for me. I was standing in that line. I was like, Jalessa, I was talking to myself. I was like, do not get up here and embarrass yourself. You are going to keep it very cool and very cute. Just be like, I really love your books. I walked up. She said, hey, Jalessa. I was like, in my head, I was like, oh my gosh, she knows me. Like, me? It's crazy. And they be acting like regular people. And I'm like, you are not regular. Let me get your autograph.
That's me and Monica Walters. Like, I could have just fell out in Houston. I could have just fell the fuck out, man.
And they're such normal people. Like, they don't act big and bad. They are good, nice, normal, regular people.
They are. Monica Walters, and it was somebody else that I had met, and I was just like staring. Like, am I being a creep? Like, what? So I get it. I totally get that. And it's some of y'all influencers that I be looking like, oh, hell. Yeah, I be like that too. I be fangirling. I just be trying to be cool about it.
Yeah, like my inner monologue, it'd be real wild. It's like you don't be weird.
Yeah,
Weird.
that was like the first time I spoke to E. Bowser before we like really got to know each other. And my
Mm-hmm.
first interview with E. Bowser, I was nervous than a bitch because I had never talked to her like except for me doing reviews on her books. So
Mm-hmm.
of course, when I got to interview her, it was just like, whoo.
She has the sweetest face. I'm like, there's no way this sweet face angel wrote behind the curtain. Like, it's just, how did we get there from this face? It's crazy.
So let me ask you this: how do you feel about the current representation of Black authors in stories in like mainstream media? It's the face.
So I feel like if I'm watching something and like there's a black author there, it's very rarely like they're a black author that's writing a black book.
Mm.
It very much gives. You know who Robin Lee is? She wrote the
Mhm.
book. The what is it? When I Think of You, the book that Anne Hathaway was in the movie.
Yeah,
And she couldn't sell it when the characters were black, but
yeah,
when she changed them to being white. I would like to see more representation of black authors who are actually writing black stories, because
mm.
you have black authors and then you have authors who are black, and to me there's a difference, and there's nothing wrong with either. I
Mhm.
prefer black authors, but I feel like as an author, you have to write the story that you want to tell.
Yeah,
And I will never ever fault an author for telling a story that they feel like they need to write. But I also know
yeah,
that there is definitely a difference between a black author, and I think that that's someone who writes black stories for black people, and an author who is black, and that's someone who writes stories, but it's
mhm.
not necessarily for us. Um, and I feel like that's what we see a lot of as far as
Mhm.
are concerned.
I feel
I
like
answered your question.
you did. I just feel like a lot of people don't understand. There are people who are willing to sell their soul and their ethnicity.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna say ethnicity and culture and all that stuff is real different. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And a lot of people will go out their way to sell their ethnicity out for the highest bidder
Yeah.
and not and be miserable in their success because they're not authentically themselves.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of black authors that we see and we don't see. Hell, some of them we didn't even know was black. That's how they write and don't even resemble anything that we ever read.
That part. And I just, I tried to be an author at one point in my life, and I could not imagine sitting down at my computer and writing a story that was not about black people for black people.
Mm,
I have no interest in telling a story with two white characters. Like that just that doesn't appeal to me. So I don't understand it. But I also understand I don't have to understand everything. What you do with your life is what you do with your life.
facts, facts, facts.
Yes, tried. I think yes, tried. I tried. That lady
So
is.
what happened? What happened with the journey, man?
I figured out that I would much rather, like in my free time,
Mm-hmm.
I would rather read a book than sit down and try to write a book.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and I'd like authors that have so much discipline, okay? Because I could not imagine scrolling on threads and seeing my page on drop the book and being like, oh, I can't read it right now because I got to finish writing these 45 chapters. I don't have the discipline for it. And it
Kimmy
really
said,
does.
wait. Kimmy said, wait. She
What she said?
said she fake it. We
I'm
need an
being so
update.
serious. I'm being so serious. That lady, that lady is gone for now. She might come back one day, maybe, but like that's not where it is for me.
Oh, that's
I don't want to
funny.
do it anymore. I'm very much lazy in the fact that when I turn my computer off at 5:30, my brain also must be turned off. And you
I
can't
feel
turn your brain off and write a book. I mean, some people do turn their brains off and write a book, but them books don't be good. So I don't want to be.
yeah.
I don't want nobody being like, "What the fuck is this? Like, why would she write this and put this on the internet?" I never want that to be me.
So, what advice would you give to, I don't know, what advice would you give to aspiring Black authors, or just content creators in the book space trying to break it into the indie world or just the industry in general?
Just do it is my first one. Two, realize everything you do is not going to be for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And you might not find your people immediately, but you will find them eventually. You just cannot give up.
Mm.
I think with authors, there are so many authors that I feel should be so much bigger than they are.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
there are authors that are bigger than, and I'm just like, I don't
I don't
get it.
see it.
I don't. It's not 1 and 1 is not equaling 2 for me over there. But they keep pushing forward and they're getting better in their craft and they're building up a backlog of books that when they do pop, people are going to have plenty of stories to go ahead and read from.
Yeah.
But I just want that you have to just, if your heart is really in it and it's really what you want to do, you have to continue to do it. And you have to understand that some people do have instant success. We love that for them. But a lot of people don't have instant success.
They got to grind.
They have to grind. And it is a grind. It is, it took me 3.5 months to write this book. And it's been out for 4 months and I have 75 reviews on it. You have to take that time and you have to realize that when it's your time, it's going to be your time. If it's for you, it is going to be for you. And I say the same thing for creators. Do not get caught up in them numbers. Baby, listen to me. Do not get caught up in them numbers. Specifically, that follower number. That follower number is not the most important number for you. Okay? And I will tell you that based off me. I don't have 10,000 followers on Twitter. Or not on Twitter, on TikTok. I don't. It has been a very slow progression for me on this platform, but that has not slowed down not one opportunity that I have ever had. That engagement is what is important, and it's you just continuing to do your thing. It is quality over quantity.
And I just want people to understand, before there was TikTok, there was Facebook, there was Twitter, Bookstagram, and all that stuff, and YouTube, Booktube, so those people had to grind hard, to even break it past 1,000 sometimes.
Yeah.
People be grinding on YouTube all the time because you don't get monetized on YouTube until you 1,000 followers in. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, you have to grind. People who look at these numbers and be like, "Oh my God, this person got 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, blah blah blah." That shit it don't pay you shit. Let's make that real clear.
It's not putting no money in their pocket.
I have 10,000 followers, and that don't make me no motherfucking money. It's the fucking grind that sets me apart. That's it. That's all. I can give 2 fucks about because I was still doing interviews when I had 3,000 followers.
Yeah.
So that shit don't matter. So please stop reaching for that. Please.
Set goals, but understand that it's gonna take work, and you cannot just post one video on a Tuesday and be like, okay, that's it. Also, you are coming into a community that's already been established. If you are not interacting with the community that's already there, they have no reason to interact with you.
Facts.
So if you just dropping a video and you don't go comment on other people's videos, you're not reposting videos, you cannot be seriously expecting people to do the same shit for you. You have to make yourself a part of the community. You have to introduce yourself to this community. You cannot just kick the door in and say, "Hey, bitches, I'm here." It works for some people, but for most people, it does not.
Facts. So how do you navigate working with publishers on brands while staying true to your own voice and values?
This is the thing that I am not good at all. Which is why I sought help. So I recently signed to the Casey Kelly Media Agency because I was like, I want to work with publishers. I want to get brand deals, but I don't know nothing about that. I know how to read books and I know how to talk about books. All that other stuff, pitching myself. When I've had authors reach out to me, I hate when the authors be asking me to do stuff and be like, okay, I'm going to pay you. Like, what do you mean you going to pay me? Because I was going to probably do this shit anyway for free. So, like, just send me a book. It just makes me very uncomfortable. But one of my friends got into my ass about it. She was like, look, I think you're selling yourself short. And I think that because you love this community that you're part of, you're not allowing yourself to actually monetize your status or whatever she said. And I was like, I don't know how to do that. I need somebody to do it for me. So I have sought help, but my thing is I started this because I wanted to talk about Black indie authors. I will always make my platform to uplift Black indie authors. That does not mean I'm not going to be talking about traditionally published authors. I'm not going to be working with big publishing houses because I want to do that as well. But there's a balance to it. It's never going to be a switch where it's like, oh damn, Jalessa just went trad. Absolutely not. I don't even read that many traditionally published books. If you be honest, I think I just started my first one today of the year. I'm an indie girl. That is my home. That is the community that I joined. That is the community that I love, that I appreciate. That is the community that has saved my life. I'm always going to put on for them. And so anything I do, it cannot block that. And if it does, then that's not something I need to be a part of.
I feel that. I hate talking to folks, even though I do talk to folks. Even though this is my thing, but I really hate talking to folks when it comes to like business in regards to paying me.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable.
It's uncomfortable. And then it's like, okay, well, out here, my rate is $50. And they be like, I'm paying why's your rate so
got on me about that? Because I did that. I said my rate was like $45. And she had texted me, was like, bitch, if you don't change that shit, I said, I'm not changing. She was so mad at my ass.
It wasn't that, or like if you see him at an event, they'll try to give you a book for free. You finna take this money. You finna take this money. So you can give me this book for free. I'm still finna cash app you the $25. Like, stop playing with me. You are running a business, and I am supporting your business. I appreciate you want to give me whatever I want, and I love you for it. But you also finna take these codes.
I be appreciating everything that authors send me or at book events wanting to give me a book, but I be ghost on y'all asses when y'all be looking for me to give me a book because I already know the deal. You ain't finna fucking. I'm gonna go buy that bitch. I be ghost on y'all asses for real. Charity Shanae, she just said, I'm gonna just send it to you any goddamn way now. How about that? So if you can't pay us, why can't we pay you?
Tati, go on somewhere.
I just said it's awkward. I don't know how to describe it.
It's weird. It is ass backwards. I understand that. But like, if I don't give this money to you, I'm gonna go buy like shoes or hair. So like, please take this $15.
I'm just I don't know, y'all. I'm trying, this is why I'm in the midst of representation. I'm in the midst of it because, bruh, once I get fully into that representation of my PR people, then I'll not have to worry about that bullshit.
I'm like, get somebody else to do it. It's just, I'm here to support you. And I think because it's so much beyond, oh, I just read this book. It's because like I was probably in a bad place or I wasn't having a good time. And your book helped me out. It lifted me up. It allowed me to escape. The least I can do is pay you these little 15 measly dollars so that I can have that book on my shelf. And 9 times out of 10, when authors send me books, I'm like, great, you send me a book. I'm going to buy that book and send it to somebody else. I want you to get this money.
Facts. Facts.
Especially if it's a traditionally published book. I got Losing Sight. I need to finish Losing Sight by Tati. It comes out next month. Does it come out next month? Yes, it comes out next month.
Yeah,
I still pre-ordered it from Barnes and Noble. I was like, no, I'm still gonna pre-order this book. You gave it to me for free. Now I'm gonna buy it, and somebody else will get it.
I need her to do a signing up here in Chicago at the Barnes and Noble here. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Are you up there, lady?
I'm just saying. So what is okay, let's talk about your podcast. What's the creative process like for planning a podcast episode and doing also what you like doing book reviews?
So we don't really even have a creative process, honestly. We pick our book, and then we read it, and then we press record, and we just let the conversation happen naturally. We didn't want anything to be like structured because we didn't want the actual podcast to sway too far away from what just our normal book club meetings were like. And our book club meetings are really we just talk about. We can go from the beginning of the book to the middle of the book, back to the beginning of the book, wherever the conversation takes us. And then one of the girls on the podcast, Candace, she actually has a podcast network, which I'm drawing a blank on what it is, Flawless Noises Network. She does our editing for us. So we'll record, she'll do the editing, and then we'll put the episode out. We really started doing it on a whim. We're taking it much more seriously this year. So we have some plans. We're trying to really build things up. We wanted to kind of see what was going to happen with the TikTok ban before we decided we were going to continue to invest a lot of time over here, or if we were going to kind of transition that to Instagram and then eventually Booktube, because we want to do a couple of episodes where you can see our faces. So like we'll record like the Zoom. But we're in the process. We're reading a book now, and we read some of everything. They have me reading thrillers. We done read some women's fiction. I'm like, damn, can somebody fall in love in these books? I just got out of like, if people not falling in love with your book, I don't care about it. Like, I just got out of that phase. I've been locked in real hard for like 8 years. So I'm reading a little bit of everything. We're reading the thriller, this one, because I got the audiobook already. And we try to focus on Black authors, but we are a bit more open as far as the authors that we read from.
Yeah. So can you tell me like a memorable moment of 2024 of going someplace, meeting someone, or something happening to you as a content creator that just really helped you want to stay in content creation in this bookish world?
You know what? It's so funny, and I'm dead ass. This is the moment that stood out. So at Boozy Book Tour, there was a lady that I met, and I cannot remember her name. And she was like, "You told me about this event," and I said, "This is up the street, so I'm going to go because Jalessa said I need to go." And I was like, "Me? What? Y'all be listening to me? I just be wanting people to go outside." That, and then I finally got to meet Takora Monique at this year. I've been reading Takora Monique for years, and so like we've been talking on Twitter for years, and so to finally be able to like hug her in person, and like be like, "Thank you so much," and like get my book signed, I ate that up.
I just got into her last year with the Bike Club thing. That was the first book I read from her. But you know, I kind of Bike Club books are like, I just love them. So, but I just got into her last year, and then when I went to look at her catalog, I was like, God damn.
Yeah, it's so many authors, and I really want people to take like this year specifically, like your favorite author. Go in their backlog, go in that catalog, go back to their first book and read through what they used to put out. See the progression of their writing. It's some gems in some of them catalogs, okay? It is some gems in some of those catalogs. But yeah, having somebody tell me that they were at an event because they heard about the event from me, that was great. And then finally meeting Takora, because again, we talk to these people I was talking to her like goddamn every day. Every time she got a book drop, and I'm like, okay, tell me what I need to do. Do I need to beg for this book? Like, what do we need to do? So being able to actually hug her and like
Yeah.
with her and just tell her thank you. I feel like I always tell authors thank you, and they be like, okay, but like for real, I be meaning thank you for real.
Yeah. Yeah. So how do you balance being authentic with maintaining a professional image in the public eye? Because this is not 9 to 5 for you yet.
This is not a 9 to 5 for me. Yeah, it does not pay my bills. Um, I think that I just I think it just boils down to I'm just gonna be who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Feel how I feel. Now, I will say I am not somebody like if I don't like a book, I'm not gonna talk about a book.
Yeah.
Um, and that's because I don't ever want something I say about a book that I didn't enjoy to prevent somebody else from reading that book. Because
Mm-hmm.
again, how I receive the book can be completely different from how you receive the book.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I also want to make sure that I'm always being honest.
Yeah.
So, perfect example, I dropped my episode of Sidelines and Storylines. I loved Fumble Into Forever by Elma Dearest, except for this one part of the book. I just didn't like it. It did not fit well with me. I felt very comfortable being able to say I adored everything about this book except for this. I didn't like this because it just didn't sit well with me. And I feel
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of people are not comfortable saying the negative things about a book because we don't want one, you don't want to offend an author, you don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. Um, until you don't want nobody because if you jump in my comments being stupid, then I'm gonna have to act stupid back with you, and then it becomes a whole different thing. I want to prevent that from even happening, but
Mm-hmm.
there is a way for you to express that something didn't really sit well with you without being rude and disrespectful. Because I'm not attacking the author; I'm attacking this one part of the story that they wrote. There's a difference, and there's balance there. Um, and I think just you gotta do what makes you comfortable. It's when people try to force themselves to do shit that they're really not sure about, that they really don't feel comfortable doing. That's when
Mm-hmm.
shit starts to get really weird, and that's when people start to mess up.
True.
Don't try to think.
So how do you feel about the lack of male voices in the romance genre as far as authors?
I wish there were more.
Mm-hmm.
I also think that it's on us as readers to make sure that we are uplifting the male authors in this genre.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I need to do more with male authors because I need to read more Lamarck's Brown, but I want them to let us know they exist as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You are your first publicist, so you got to put yourself out there. You got to reach out to readers. You got to slide in people's inbox and say hello first. Don't just drop links in people's books. Um, and you also have to set an expectation. Don't
Mm-hmm.
just say, "Hey, I would love for you to read my book," and then be mad because it's been 2 weeks and I haven't read your book or posted a review about it. You didn't give me any parameters. You just say, "Hey, here's my book." I say, "Okay, I'll try to get to it." We have as creators, as book influencers, whatever. Baby, I got at any day 10, 15 authors in my inbox like, "Hey, I have this book. Hey, I have this book."
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yes.
only I do not have the liberty of just sitting around and reading a book all day. While I would love to do that, I do have to actually go to work every day. Well, I work from home, but I do have to actually like be at my desk every day for 8 hours. So set parameters. Like, hey, I would love to send you this book. Do you think you could get it read and reviewed within the next 2 or 3 weeks? Let
Yeah.
us be honest and let us know. Um, but I do think that we need more black male romance authors.
Yeah. I mean, I did a list that I had put in my, I guess, that top menu thingy for
Mm-hmm.
recommendations of black male authors, but I was looking at that list and I was like, damn, this is small.
Yeah, I think so. There's what like Lamarck Brown,
King
Shakira
Benjamin with Morris Brown, Cartier.
Kanye.
Uh, you have fuck. I don't read everybody like that. So because I even the ones that I recommended, I was like struggling.
Yeah,
Nori in Love, yeah.
Morning in
Nori.
Love.
I was struggling trying to find them. It's like looking at a haystack looking for a needle.
Needle. Yeah.
Flashlight. Like,
Like
so
I would love for people to be like, oh yeah, who's a male, and just be able to list like, here go 10 authors, bam, check out these catalogs. But
yeah,
you
Mel
what,
Walker.
5?
Huh?
Oh, Mel Walker. I've not read Mel Walker
I
before.
haven't either. Makai Rain, he just came in here. Makai
Jason
Rain.
Graham.
Yeah, it's not that many independent black authors
Yeah.
that's in the romance genre.
Yeah.
Even in the sci-fi and fantasy genre.
Yeah. I want to see more, and I don't know if that's because they don't know that they can publish a book independently, or it's because they don't want to, or if they feel like nobody will read their books.
I don't know. I'm trying to do another. I might just do another recommendation list, but shit, trying to research that shit hard as hell. And they don't be on social media like that.
Yeah,
That's another thing.
that's another thing. Like you have to go where the readers are, and if the readers are on social media, you gonna have to have a presence on social media. You can always build up your readership and then slink back or just talk to people. I like personally when authors just release books and then leave us alone. I love that. You could do
Makai,
that.
I'm not trying to hear that shit. Makai talking about it's hard for us. No, y'all just men. That just say what it is. Y'all are being men. Okay?
It'd be easier if you made it easier on yourself.
Because women be up here 24/7, 7 days a week, promoting, marketing, doing those things. So I don't even kick bricks. Yeah, I don't feed that bullshit to me. I'm just saying. Now, yeah, you better laugh. What tools or strategies do you use to keep your audience and your platform growing, even if it's not numbers, just get people engaged?
The answer to that is I don't really think I have none. I always wanted to make sure that people knew it was me when they were scrolling past the video. So I've always I intentionally start my videos with "Hey friends." Like that's what I say at the beginning of my videos. The strategy wise, in an ideal world, it's like, yeah, I want to post like 3 book reviews a week and then like do a random video every now and then. But really, it depends on my mood. Because I cannot fake the fuck. Like if I'm not in a good mood, it's gonna come through in a book review. It's gonna be like, what is going on with her? Something's not right here. I think just consistency, and like that doesn't mean like I'm sitting down recording a formal book review every day. That can mean sometimes I'm sitting at my desk and I have a thought and I pop on TikTok to say what I gotta say, post it, and keep it moving. Just to keep yourself out there, I think is the most important thing.
So, how do you think books can be the catalyst for social change, especially in the Black community and Black literature?
I think the thing that I appreciate most about reading a book is that it introduces me, or it forces me sometimes to think outside of the realm that I exist in. Again, I'm from the suburbs, okay? I'm a suburban child. So I'm reading, an urban fiction book. That's not a world that well, I don't know. I was a teenager in Atlanta, so I am kind of familiar with that world. But like that's not a space that I grew up in. So it introduced me to something that I would not have normally or naturally been a part of. And I think with books you are able to weave these stories, whether they be accurate and realistic or whether they be fictional, but it allows people to expand their minds and think about things from other perspectives. And I think doing that and being able to recognize, like, damn, this is somebody who looks like me, but we had 2 completely different ways of growing up, or their story is completely different from what I did. Or their experience in college was completely different from my experience in college. I'm curious. Let me go see if I can find somebody who really lived that life in real life. I think it just allows you to see things that you probably wouldn't normally see.
Mm.
I mean like real things. I don't mean like aliens and werewolves. Like, do I think I can drive in the North Georgia mountains and find like a werewolf pack of black people? Probably not. But that shit's kind of cool. It makes you delve a little bit deeper. But you also have a lot of people that think that books are not political, which is so dumb. But I think that's also because they've never actually spoken to a person who it was illegal for them to read. I have. Most black people, if we have not actually spoken to a family member or an ancestor that was not allowed to read, we know somebody within our realm, within our circle, that it was literally illegal for people who look like us to know how to read.
And the caveat to that is, once again, this is Storm, so don't be shocked. Don't put Storm in the comments when I say what I'm about to say. Okay? Some of you bitches, it's a reason why Harriet Tubman left hoes where they were standing, because y'all got on this motherfucking app and was like, yeah, I agree. It shouldn't be political. And you look like us. And you said that dumb, raggedy shit out your mouth, what you raggedy bitches did. So, therefore, I just want to say, I will continue to say this. Stub your toe on the Lego on the way down to hell. That's what I'm saying.
I just think we could get back to talking about books. Like, why does everything have to be political? You don't even realize that the fact that you don't think reading is political is a privilege, and that's really what the problem is.
Yeah, I am extroverted. I am. See, on the interwebs, I try to be more outgoing. In person, I don't say this unless you don't piss me off. Then, of course, I'm a,
I mean, sometimes you gotta say stuff. You gotta put it out there. You gotta get it out there.
I have to give y'all a disclaimer, because every time I go into my tangent, y'all be like, Storm, I understand I'm supposed to be professional on this damn podcast,
I think you're being very professional.
I'm trying. I'm trying. You know what I'm saying? Because, the other day I had the CEO of the Black Writers Weekend, and we were speaking about the subject. It was about the Crunchy Wig bitch being nominated for, activists. So we had a real thorough conversation about it. She told me where she was coming from, and then I expressed, why these things happen, and there was a happy medium. But the hatred that I have for this chick outweighed my professionalism. So then,
yeah,
it came out.
It had to come out. It'd be like that sometimes.
But I'm saying that this is where we can have those discussions. You know what I'm saying? We can have discussions that are not violent, that it's not stupid. You know what I'm saying? We can really talk to one another. After hearing what she had to say, I get it. You can't be in charge of everything. You have a board for that. And I get that. Mm-hmm. But like I said, research is very fundamental.
Research is fundamental. And it's free.
That. But also, you can't look at numbers. And I think that's what got them, was this black woman with numbers.
I can tell. I was like, there's no way they went to her page, scrolled through her videos, and said, yes, this is someone we should nominate for a black activist. Because the black part is there.
Yes. Allegedly.
The activist, maybe sometimes I don't be knowing what words mean. But based on my understanding of activists, it ain't no activism over there.
But it's good that we as black people can have the discussion about what it really means, and why that was a hindrance to the black book community.
Yeah.
And her being open to that, and as she said, I learned my lesson. I'm gonna make sure they do their research better.
Yeah.
So, but that all makes sense. You know what I'm saying? When I say you raggedy bitches that was talking about stuff is not political, that leads me to believe that y'all read the Hunger Games and said, this is a great book, and that's it. And I see the capitalism, the
Yes.
racism and bigotry and everything in those books.
But like even that, how are you reading the Hunger Games and saying reading is not political?
Or Fourth Wing,
Like
or
your comprehend, it tells me that you either didn't actually read the book or your comprehension levels are extremely severely low because you read a book about a government forcing children to fight to the death and you didn't think that shit was political.
in sectors that are poor,
They're poor.
while the rich people watch in this is like gladiators.
The rich people get to train their children up. You got these two stranger children that been working in the factory. Now they got to go fight to the death. Like, come on. They thought it was a love story. Fuck that love story. I didn't even believe that love story.
Wait, I didn't even see love.
Say how y'all falling in love when y'all gotta murder people. Something is wrong.
Even paranormal books are political. Even just right and just being a black person writing a book is political.
Mm-hmm.
Being a woman is political across the board. You know what I'm saying? So the reach of them saying that is about as stupid as it gets.
Mm-hmm.
As stupid as it gets. And yes, anime is definitely political. So it's just as stupid as it gets. And this goes back to, how do you feel about black people that get on this app and they become more of a hindrance to us, but and yet they get, because of their negative stance on their own people, they get the attention that they're craving, but we get the backlash.
I think they should go to hell. Let me start there.
Yes,
But also, those are people that I have to block. I just my form of I cannot acknowledge them.
yeah.
I think that if we again, I think we talked about this earlier. If we could all collectively not acknowledge them, because we know why they're doing it. We also know who they're doing it for. It's not for us. They're putting on a show so that they can get their numbers up, and great. Do what you feel is necessary.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna pay you no attention. I cannot give you any of my energy. I can't give you shit. And honestly, I don't feel like you blowing back on me because that's not my business.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like and it's hard because you want to say something. You want to be like, stop. Are you being fucking serious? Do you know that when you walk in a room, they're not going to care that you only read Colleen Hoover. They're still going to see that you are black. That's the first thing that they're going to see about you. It's going to be the color of your skin. And so you choosing to be the one person in this space, and all you do is sit there and put down other black people and put down black authors and black books, at the end of the day, that's not going to sustain you. Because as soon as you get upset, perfect example, the way them people turned on Wig when she got on here crying.
Oh yeah.
Lost.
Yeah.
They were upset. And it's like, did you think that they were going to be on your side because they like your book picks? They don't like you for real, bitch. You make them feel like they're doing their part in being diverse.
That part.
You make them feel like they're checking the box. I can't be racist. I follow a black book creator. She don't talk about black books.
That part. Yeah. Yeah.
When she checks a box, she makes them feel good, makes them feel like they've accomplished something. And so they're okay with it until she says something that pisses them off. Then that's when they see that's when their true colors come out.
It's a very sad thing, even though I laughed. But it's a very, very sad thing.
I was like, I knew it was going to happen eventually.
Very sad. So, if you can recommend one book to everyone, what would it be and why? One book. One book.
Oh my God. I hate questions like this. Okay. One book. One. Okay, this is the book I give to everybody. Anonymous Acts by Christina C. Jones. It is romantic suspense. You literally cannot figure out this story. Where this is going, you're not going to know. You're not going to be able to solve the crime. It's sexy. It's sensual. It starts off with literally a bang. The people that need to get beat up got their ass beat. I'm a big proponent on beating people up on page. It's just from top to bottom, it's a fantastic book.
Okay. So, what book have you read recently? Recently, that you couldn't put down?
Hold on. Let me go in here and see. Cause I wanna say Capri 3.5. Um
Don't
like
make me.
I was gonna fly through that book. I was going to fly through that book.
Oh my god.
It was so good.
It,
Um you know what? The Fate of Our Future by Brienne Dene.
mm,
So good.
mm.
So good.
If you're
Amazing.
okay, I'm gonna switch up my questions because uh, since you ain't put out that book, I can't ask you other questions. I'm just saying. So, if your life were a book,
Uh-huh.
what would it be? What would be the title? What would be the title of that book?
Girl, what the fuck?
Not girl. What the fuck?
Yeah. That would be the title of my book. And it would be about a girl who like lives her life as a musical.
Mm.
Like there's a song for every situation. That is me. I'd like that is it. But girl, what the fuck would absolutely be the title of my book.
I'm so what's your guilty pleasure, like your read? What's your guilty pleasure read or genre that you just secretly love? Now I know secret means secret, but if you're willing to say.
Um Guilty?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know because I don't feel guilty about nothing that I read. Um okay. Fan fiction. I used to be like really heavy into like fan fiction back in the day. And then I read with one of my book clubs, I read Manacled last year, which is Harry Potter fan fiction. It is Draco and Hermione. And when I tell you that book blew my mind. It's dark romance. It is dark. Okay. It's like mixed Harry Potter with Handmaid's Tale, and it's very fucked up, but it was so good. And so I have been back in my fan fiction bag. I have been over on AO3 like a crazy person. Downloading books. Like, I see this. Let me read this.
So what's your legacy? What are you trying to leave? Because as I said, you and Tori, y'all were like the foundation. So what's the legacy you trying to leave for Black content creators, Black bookish influencers, and even podcasting? So what's the legacy you trying to leave?
That your voice is important and it's needed, and that by you persevering and by you continuing to put yourself out there, you are making a change.
Mm.
And you are bringing more people into the fold.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I've ever wanted to do was to get more people back to books.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the reason that Black people in general, specifically millennials, why we stopped reading so much is because we didn't have anything else to read for us. You know, the Zanes and the Eric Jerome Dickies, they weren't putting books out the way that they were when we were coming up. And what we didn't know is that we still have authors that are out here writing specifically for us. We just have to find them. You matter, man. Like, that's really it. Like, I don't give a fuck what nobody says. If you read a book and you want to talk about that book, talk about that book.
Mm.
Because you could be the one person that introduces somebody else to that book and brings them into this world and introduces them to all these authors and these stories that are being told.
Yeah. So what's your advice to so many creators that are forming their own businesses, PR businesses, bookish editing, all that stuff. What's your advice to them?
One, do your research. Um, take it slow. Don't try to do everything all at once. Give
Mm-hmm.
yourself time to build up, because if you don't want to start a PR company and try to do all this stuff with all these authors and then you fall flat for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to build slowly. It's okay to master one thing and then add something on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
But also, just because you see other people doing it, don't mean that you can't do it, because there's space for everyone. There's literally 47 million books being released every single day. Okay, you are needed, so do it, but be smart about it. And also, you're not Christopher Columbus. You're not the first person to do it. There are people that have been doing it before you. Ask for help. Shoot them a DM. Say, hey, can I pick your brain for a second? Ask questions. That's what community is. That's the best thing about community. It's us being able to lean on each other and rely on each other, get questions, get opinions. You're able to learn from them. They've already done the shit. Let them teach you. Let them give you the game before you even start to do anything. That way, you're able to do shit better.
So, with that being said, you said you're gonna be outside. Could
Yeah.
you tell us what events you're gonna be outside at?
Yeah, so I will be at A Night with Nick with Nicole Falls and Alexandra Warren in February. That's in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
I am a moderator at the Black Romance Book Fest, which is in Atlanta in May. I will be at Indie Love, which is in Atlanta in June. I will be at House Party in Charlotte with Alexandria House. I will be at Behind the Pen in New York. I think that's in August.
Jesus.
I think that's August. And then I will also be at Southern Hearts and Signed Kisses in October in Columbia. And I'm trying to fit in like 2 more events for next year. I don't know where I'm going to get all this money from,
I'm
but
girl, because I'm sitting here like,
God is going to figure it out. I believe He will make a way. He going to make a way. Because I'm outside. I said I'm only doing 4 events. I'm at 6 and we'll probably be at 8 before the end of the year.
Jesus.
It's crazy. The amount of money I'm gonna spend on books that I don't have no space for is insane. But I'm excited.
I just know you should make room in 2026 in December for Dirty Summer because us older book talkers are
Mm-hmm.
having I think it's 30 and up, 32 and up, something like that. We're having a book girls trip to Dirty Summer in Legos for
Oh,
like a 4 day in
and Africa
December.
was already on my list for 2026. So yeah.
Sister Harlem said 30 and up. Yeah. Yeah. So 35 and up. Okay. One of them. It's one of them. It's one of them. But it's for the grown folks. And we're going to go to Legos 30 Summer together in December of 2026.
Bad, bad. Count me in for that. Let me actually. You
So
said
save your coins. Save your
look,
coins.
look. Africa is just the trip of life.
Girl.
I went to South Africa in 2023.
Mm.
I really wasn't gonna come back. I text my mom like, I think you should go pack my apartment up, just ship me my stuff. I'm gonna see if my job will let me work from Cape Town. She was like, if you don't bring your black ass back to America, the best trip I've ever taken in my whole life. So I'm definitely going.
Okay, well, 30. We'll say 30. But look, I ain't trying to talk to you young hoes, okay?
You
I'm,
gotta at least be 30.
I'm trying to get people to match the energy. Damn it. Shit, because we can only party for so long and then we got to go to bed.
Oh, honey, because okay, and it won't be no partying back to back because I'm gonna need a day of recovery in between. Okay, my get back is not the way it used to be.
Right.
It
Shit,
does not work like that.
you're not about to have me out here ankle swollen.
Absolutely not.
Shit.
And I'm gonna need a place to sit at all times.
That
There
part.
won't be no standing. Okay, give me a seat.
And I'm going to enjoy the event. I'm not going to even be on my fucking phone.
No.
That whole no, I'm not doing none of that. None of that because
Because
y'all
when
don't
we
need to
was
see
in the
shit.
club heavy in our business casual attire, okay, we was on the dance floor in our heels and our blazers, okay? That's the way I grew up in the club.
Half of the fucking D9 parties that I used to go to, you would never catch it online. You know why? Because motherfuckers wasn't filming that shit.
Yeah, boy, I'm so glad that all this social media, like Twitter, had just came out when I was in undergrad, and that's when we were tweeting like from our via text message.
Child. If
Like,
motherfuckers could have seen some of the stuff at them damn Q parties.
I'm so glad that there was not picture phones, all that videos. I'm so glad all of that shit is gone. I'm glad we didn't have it. I would not have survived it.
Would have been out there.
Would have been out there. You're not gonna catch me in 3D. Not me.
Would have been out there. So tell everybody about your website and also tell them about your podcast and where they can find it.
So my website is Book Me There. The site will be back live. I am shooting for next Sunday, but I am not a website building bitch. Okay, I had somebody else do it for me, and I've been trying to do it myself, and it's a lot of work. Okay, I'll be on that computer like I need somebody else to do it, but I'm getting the website updated. The Instagram will always stay up and active, and that's Book Me There on Instagram. And as far as the podcast is concerned, you can find us on Instagram at It's the Lit Library. You can also just go to my page. Any of my pages, Jalessareads. Click the link in bio. It'll take you to Book Me There and to the podcast. And our next podcast episode will be out at the end of this month.
Okay, okay. So, some housekeeping before we get out of here. Y'all know the Boozy Book Tour, Melanin Ball is coming up in February. I wish you
Y'all
could.
gonna have so much fun.
1920s, and if you don't know, I will be coming as Chantel for E Bowser as a tribute in my all white suit with my bust down wig on.
Oh, that's right.
So we are gonna record, and it probably won't get uploaded that day because yeah, you gonna get it, but just yeah. And also make sure that you are supporting these Black book events. Please go to the website and find a book event for you. You know, nobody's gonna think less of you if you can't go to all of them. Okay?
Yes. Okay. Go to a book event, and also I just want to say this: if you don't have nobody to go to the book event with, still go to the book event, okay? You're not going to leave that place alone. You're going to find somebody that you recognize. It's never been, and I'm not an expert, but in every event I've gone to, majority of them I go to alone. And that's just because my friends are like, bitch, I'm not going to come to no book event with you for 6 hours. And I'm like, cool, I get it. I appreciate it. There's always going to be somebody else there that is by themselves. You're going to make a friend. Okay? So just go. Don't be nervous. Don't be scared. It's a very welcoming community. Yes, it can be cliquey. We're not gonna make shit up, but you will have a good time and you're gonna make friends there in person.
Yeah.
So,
So please go check that out and support all Black content creators because a lot of us have YouTube channels.
oh yeah, I did. Boy, that YouTube.
I'm trying, girl. I'm trying.
I was like, I need to record my video tomorrow. I'm like, this boy, it is a different monster over there.
It is. It is.
It is not like here. It's not like, oh, you went viral. Now you got to, no. They do not play them games over there. You got to put in some work.
Yes, yes. I'm learning that as I go. I promise you. And last but not least, good news for me. Well, no, before I give you the good news, tomorrow will be Siobhan Latrice at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Y'all calculate that Pacific Standard Time because I ain't doing it for you. I calculate that shit. So she will be on here tomorrow. And if y'all say acid one more motherfucking time, don't be
out.
Don't be stressing that woman out.
It's out.
I know they be stressing.
She knew what was gonna happen when she said, "Oh, look at this cover. Maybe I'll just draw the book." Authors be knowing. They like us stressing them out. I'm committed.
Stressing people out.
They like when we stress them out.
And the good news is I was invited to the Black Writers Weekend, where I will be hosting my own panel.
Look at you.
Yeah, so this is a first for me. I ain't never had nothing like this shit happen, but this was one of the goals that I had manifested for myself, and I just found out the other day.
That's really exciting. I'm really happy for you. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm trying. So I get to talk about Black indie authors the way I want to talk about Black indie authors and tell the masses about it while pitching Black indie authors to film directors, publishing houses, and etc.
Oh my God! Please to film directors, because never mind. Yeah, yay. I was gonna get myself in trouble. I said, that's exciting. Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm excited because I have a whole list of authors that I want to talk about on my panel. So,
and that's in Atlanta, right?
It's in Atlanta. It's going to be the end of July. So I will have my own panel, and I will be discussing me having a podcast that is focused on indie authors and Black content creators. And I will be talking about Black indie authors. And I have a list of authors that I am definitely going to be speaking about that I just don't think they're getting their flowers, and really going into detail. It's going to be like a TED Talk.
Love that. Yeah. Everything is in Atlanta. I'm so sorry to everybody that doesn't live in Atlanta that the book events be here. I mean, I'm sorry for y'all. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not sorry at all for myself, because I can just hop in the car and head over there. So I will probably pull up for your panel since I'm here.
I appreciate that. I appreciate the support. Like, I'm nervous, but once I get in my element and I start talking about indie books because I'm so passionate about it, I'm not even gonna realize people are in the audience. I'm gonna just be talking.
Yeah, you'll just be talking. No, I get it. Like, the whole moderating thing, I'm trying to like mentally prepare myself. I'm like, I've never done this before, but I'm like, I feel like once I just need to do it.
Yeah.
And get